Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast, live today. The title, Macron is right. Emmanuel Macron is right. He's correct. The UK is a soft touch for migrants, although he's ripped us off for 500 million as well. But what do you think? Is the UK really a soft touch for migrants, as the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, has said when he was with King Charles last night? Do you think we've wasted £500 million paying France to stop the boats and they've done naff all? Drop your thoughts below in the comments. I'll be replying to as many comments as I can. Hit the like button as well if you're enjoying the show. Let's get going. Welcome back. As I say, I'm Jon Gaunt, and in today's video, we're going to dive headfirst into the UK's growing migrant crisis. It isn't just a migrant crisis. We now need to declare a state of emergency at Dover and on our borders. The French President Emmanuel Macron slammed Britain last night when he was having a very posh dinner on his state visit with King Charles, of course. He called us a soft touch. He says that we lead them into Britain, i.e. with the hotels and the squeezy soap. Do you know what? For once, I agree with the French. I agree 100% with Emmanuel Macron. We are giving them the green light. By the same token, he's not doing much, is he, to stop them? And we gave him £500 million. There's rumours today that Keir Starmer's just said he's going to give another 200 million to France to stop the boats. They do sweet FA. They wave them off. Bonjour, bonjour, and off they come to England. But, as I've been saying for ages, if we got them out of the hotels, if we videoed that, if we put them in tents, if we put them in old shopping centres and indeed in warehouses, as the French do in Calais, maybe that would stop people wanting to come to Britain. It hasn't worked whatever Starmer's done so far, or Sunak. We've got to change our way. We've got to get rid of the pull factor. And the way to do that is to have a deterrent. We also need to empty the hotels immediately, put them in tents, put them in warehouses. And also, I would say, anybody who breaks into Britain illegally, they should never be given the right to stay. We have to sort out the backlog as well. But if we videoed the fact that it was no longer the land of milk and honey, maybe so many would not be tempted to come. The problem, of course, is the English language. A lot of them want to come because English is their second language. It's the language of the world. But that's not an excuse for the absolute state of what is happening in Dover. Politicians like Keir Starmer hiding behind polite words and using that term now, have you heard it? Irregular migration. It's not irregular, it's illegal, you idiot. And last night, even King Charles got dragged into this complete and utter mess. He read out lines, a speech clearly written by Starmer's government, because that's the way it works, in which he used the term irregular migration. I hate the way all governments do it, of course, but Labour in particular are using King Charles, in a political way, and it's wrong, and it's got to stop. He's a constitutional monarch, end of. He should not be saying words like irregular migration. It's illegal. He's meant to be our king, like Starmer's meant to be our prime minister. He's not meant to be king of the world. He's not meant to be looking after everybody else. So in this video, we're going to talk about this because I want to expose the shocking truth behind the UK's broken immigration policy. The 500 million already wasted on France. And as I say, reports coming out, it's another 200 or 400 that Starmer's going to give him. He's got this ridiculous idea of one in, one out. Well, that won't decrease the numbers, will it? And also, Macron, what did you make of what he said? I think he told the truth. They were brutal words about Britain's or the UK's border crisis, but I think he was bang on the money. So if you care about illegal migration, UK politics, or the truth about the migrant crisis, stay tuned, hit subscribe the button, join the debate, and give me your comments. Because the big question is this: is the UK really a soft touch for migrants like Emmanuel Macron of France says? Do you think we've wasted £500 million and counting paying France to stop the boats? I want your views, and I want them now. Let's have this debate. You won't find it in many other places, but you'll certainly find it here. What is your opinion on this? I say we're being taken for mugs. I'm agreeing with President Macron. We are a soft touch, and we've got to change that. Are you with me, or are you against me? Denise Deacon says, why are we entertaining him when they've taken money for doing nothing? They're laughing at us. She's talking about the French. Hard to argue with that. In fact, this state visit, they won't say how much it's costing, Denise, but it's clearly millions of pounds. I don't want to be rude, Starmer, but I thought we were skint as a country. How the hell? Sorry, I'm good. Oh dear, I'm still trying to shake off this cold. But how the hell can we afford a state visit with Macron? What's Macron going to give us in return? Nothing. Just a whole load more migrants. He is ripping us off. The only person who deserves a state visit is Donald Trump. And then we should follow Donald Trump's idea. He's cut illegal migration in America massively. I think by 95%. How? He's put the troops on the border. He's used drones. He's used technology. And he's got a deterrent. He's now going to send them to what he calls alligator Alcatraz. We need a deterrent like that. I wasn't in favour of Rwanda when the Tories brought it in, when Rishi Sunak. I must admit I wasn't. But the more I think about it, you do need something like that, which says you try to get into Britain illegally, you'll end up in Africa. We could do this. Put them on Ascension Island. Put them in the Falklands. Process them. And at all times, treat them with respect and care. I'm not talking about bread and water. But it is ridiculous now. They go into a 4-star hotel. They get squeezy soap, as I keep saying. All the facilities. Loads of British people have lost their jobs in those hotels because they don't need them. And then they have the cheek to work in the so-called black economy. And companies like Deliveroo exploit them and exploit us. So they're picking up a 4-star hotel. They're not getting a load of benefits. We all know that, but they're getting 3 meals a day. They're getting looked after. They get new clothes. We heard last week they're getting driving lessons. They're even getting bloody wigs. This is wrong. We are skint. We cannot carry on like this. And it's about time politicians like Starmer pulled their finger out. The only person who's got an idea of how to deal with this, I'm afraid, is Nigel Farage. I suppose Lowe as well, Rupert Lowe. And I guess the other guy, I've forgotten his name now, but they're irrelevant because they're not going to get elected. But we need to change what's happening. And I welcome the fact that Macron has spoken out. I think it was a disgrace that King Charles was used last night in a political way. It is not irregular immigration. Above all, it's illegal immigration. And I'm somebody who supports immigration. I believe that well-controlled managed immigration has been good for this country. What do you think? Let me hear your comments. Put them at the bottom, please. If you're enjoying it already, press the like button. Press the bell as well so you get notified every time I'm making a new show. This is the Jon Gaunt Podcast. This is Jon Gaunt TV. And if you like it and you'd like to contribute, press that little $sign and send me a few quid to keep these things going. Or go to www.buymeabeer.com, buymeacoffee.com, /Jon Gaunt. This is truly independent broadcasting. Bless you, John, says Pete Mills. Thank you, Pete. Bless you, Father. Why do we not deploy our Navy to the English Channel, says Duck Jive 1. Well, I agree with you, my friend. I've been saying this for ages. Put our troops on the beaches at Dover I'd even put them on the beaches at Calais and Dunkirk personally and up the French. But we definitely need the Navy in the Channel, and we need to pick these people up or tow the boats back. We need to do what Australia did. At all times, though, being humane. But this cannot carry on. Are you with me or against me? W1 Phobia, I think it is, on YouTube says, if Macron wants to help the French, help the French, why would he bother doing for us? I don't know what you're on about there. I think you're saying, why would he want to stop it? Because he doesn't, because it's a European problem, isn't it? He's saying get rid of the pull factor, then they won't come to France, then try to get to England. Your views, please. In this video, we're asking then the migrant crisis. I say it's now a state of emergency for the United Kingdom. It's gripping Britain. The French President Emmanuel Macron has called the UK, us, a soft touch for illegal migrants. But he's not wrong, is he? He isn't wrong. I hate agreeing with Macron. I don't like the guy at all, especially the way he's been so anti-us getting our Brexit. It's obvious Starmer's almost sleeping with the fella, metaphorically speaking, of course. He wants to be back in the EU. We all know this. Why has he invited Macron? Why has Macron got the whole state visit, stayed at Windsor last night with Prince Charles? Why did Starmer write a speech for Charles that talked about irregular migration? This is a slap in the face for every single UK citizen. We've already paid France over £500 million to evidently stop the boats. Yet the Channel crossings are continuing to surge. While us British taxpayers fund France's failed promises, the UK border force can't cope with the endless stream of small migrant boats. And then last night, to rub our faces in it, Starmer gets the king to use the term irregular migration. That's another kick in the ghoulies for the UK population. Or have I got it wrong? I'm not even having a go at Charles. He reads what he's given. That's the way it works. Like his speech at the beginning of parliamentary sessions. But I think it's disgraceful the way they've politicised it. The biggest issue in Britain at the moment, as we all know, is immigration, especially irregular migration, illegal immigration. If the mainstream politicians don't get a hold of this, there's going to be riots on the street, I presume, because people, ordinary people, are fed up of it. We are skint. And then we've got a government under Keir Starmer who suddenly says, we've got money to give to Somalia. We've got money to give to Syria. Millions and millions of pounds. We've got £500 million to give to France to stop the boats. But still they come. And when they come, it's costing us £8 million a day. So we've wasted 500 million on France already. Although I've got to say Macron is right. There is too much of a pull factor. Let's take away the pull factor, like Macron says, but let's also say to him, you ain't getting another pound out of us, mate, until you do something. They slashed one boat, didn't they, the other day? How convenient the BBC were there to film it. It wasn't really a coincidence, was it, that Macron was coming to Windsor Castle to meet the king, and then today is at number 10 Downing Street meeting Starmer, and they want to do this one in, one out. Well, that won't convince the British public. Let's slash all the boats. What's really interesting today, I was watching GB News earlier. There's been no real significant crossings today. You've got to ask why, haven't you? I presume this is all part of the PR exercise as well, and that will be back to normal tomorrow. Or am I being too cynical? Do you agree with Emmanuel Macron's brutal words about the UK? Do you agree with him? Yes or no? Tell me now, please, in the comments. What do you think of Starmer? And do you believe he is quietly shifting the migration narrative to this idea of irregular? What do you think about the way the king has been compromised? I think it's a disgrace. I'm a royalist, right? But if there's much more of this, I'll be changing sides. And why is the migrant crisis escalating? Why aren't we getting a grip of it? So if you're fed up with illegal migration, weak border controls, and political doublespeak, I want you to join in now. We're talking UK migration, Emmanuel Macron, the migrant crisis, the state of emergency on our borders, the border crisis. We have to stop the boats, but can we? This is the biggest subject in UK politics at the moment. And at the moment, France, our nearest neighbours, are taking the Michael. And King Charles is being dragged into it, and I don't like that at all. What do you think? How do we stop the channel crossings? How do we stop the migrant boats? Who's got the idea to make this happen? All right, I'm going to come now to your comments, going crazy over there. So thank you very, very much indeed for that. Keep commenting and keep pressing the like button. If you're listening later, or if you're listening on a podcast, don't forget, if you come to YouTube, look for Jon Gaunt TV, and then you can see the video replay. You can also then subscribe. The best way to keep in touch with what I'm doing is to be a subscriber to Jon Gaunt TV. It doesn't cost anything. It's completely free. But that means if you've done that, subscribed, and you've also hit the notification bell, every time I go to make a video, you will know first and you'll be able to plan it. I know normally I do it at 6:30 in the evening. Last night it was a bit quiet, and I think it's the tennis and I think it's the heat, and it's only going to get hotter. So that's why I thought, well, I'll do one now. Plus the fact, of course, I was completely wound up by what Macron has said, even though I agree with him. Completely wired by what the king has said, disgusted by it, in fact. But I know it isn't the king who wrote that. Yeah? It's Starmer's mob. We are in an emergency crisis position. Do you agree with me? Illegal immigration is completely out of control. He hasn't stopped the boats. What did he say? No, that was Sunak who wanted to stop the boats. Starmer said he was going to smash the gangs. He couldn't smash a bloody avocado to put it on his toast, a middle-class toast pot. Anyway, let's take some more of your comments, please. Starmer isn't interested in his country's future. He's a traitor, says Pete Mills. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not so sure I'd call him a traitor, but he's certainly not British, is he? He's not got At the moment, people are skinned. Do you know anybody who's not skinned? Right? That's what people want sorting out. They want crime sorted out. I've just had a little bit of a tussle. Some idiot wrote this thing about, I went to London this weekend and it was marvellous. It's not like all these right-wing commentators said, with loads of crime. And I said, it's a crime-ridden cesspit. And he came back, he said, it's not as bad as Birmingham, right? And I've looked it up. According to the latest statistics, per capita, per the amount of people who live in the place, Birmingham is more crime-ridden than London. That's if you believe the figures. But however, is that anything to be proud of? Do you know what city's the worst? Blackpool. So if these figures are nonsense, right? The fact is there's too much crime. You don't get rewarded for being good anymore. You get rewarded for being an arse. Agreed? And particularly if you're an illegal arse. Can you believe that Deliveroo and those other companies haven't been fined already? They've been operating in the black market. If that was my mate who's got a curry house and he's got a few illegals working in the kitchen, they'd have him in court before his feet would touch the ground. Why is it different for these big companies? They've already broken the law. We know. And are we really meant to believe that the government, MI5, MI6, whoever they are, the police, didn't know that these illegals were using these bikes to deliver? Have they not got eyes? It was obvious what's happening. I didn't quite realise how organised it was. They get told they'll get a bike when they get here. They get offered the jobs before they even get into the rubber dinghy. We're being taken for mugs. Are you with me or against me? Come on, let's talk. France are delighted with a soft touch. Oops, you're the problem now, UK, says Craig Urquhart. Craig, you're right. You're right. But we are giving them a pull factor. I saw Patrick Christie's excellent report on GB News about how they're living over there. They are in huge warehouses or in tents. That's where they are. No wonder they want to get out of France. It's too tough. They want to come to us. They want a 4-star hotel. They've even complained about the hotels. They want squeezy soaps. Their mates have told them there's already a job for them. They've all got their mobile phones and they're showing videos of the land of milk and honey. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the videos so they realise they come here, then they're going to be in shit street. 11 Phobie says, no tax, no freebies. Well, it's very true, isn't it? No tax, no income tax, no VAT. They are all Del boys. They're the modern Del boys. They're not playing by the rules. I don't blame them. They want to get on. It's not the individual's fault. It's the system. John Godley says, John, put them in tents on Glastonbury. No more phones, no more benefits, and send them back. Well, remember, technically, they don't get benefits. But the bottom line is we have got to get on top of this. See, I think the government and the government before, they are all doing it on purpose. I've said this for months, years. They want a bogeyman, and the bogeyman to us is the illegal immigrant. But they just want a better life. The villains in all this are the big firms who are employing them, the big hotels who are making millions. £8 million a day we're paying for these people to sleep in 4-star hotels. Meanwhile, our ex-veterans are on the street. We've got a homeless problem. We've got a cost of living crisis. Everybody you know is skint. UK PLC can't afford this. Are you with me or against me? How can this be anything but intentional, says Will Corey on Facebook. Will, I'm afraid I'm not into conspiracy, but I'm beginning to think like that as well. They can't be that thick, can they? They didn't realise these blokes were working in the black economy. They didn't realise that was going on. They didn't think about, well, why are they all getting rid of their passports? It's been a con on the British public for the last 20 or 25 years. And it's not just the Conservative Party. It's the Labour Party as well. It's the whole political class. Are you with me or against me? More callers, more comments, should I say. Marie Callow says, useless lot. Very good point indeed. John, I live in Angela Rayner's constituency in Ashton and Line. This last week, 3 houses of multiple occupation, HMOs, are being opened in the Waterloo area about 300 yards apart. And one of them is next door to a primary school. Yeah. Brian, I don't think they're all rapists or paedophiles or anything like that, but it's quite frankly ludicrous. They're going to get them out of the hotels and put them into houses and say, oh, no, we look at the hotel bill. The hotel bill was 8 million. And they'll say, under the Conservatives, and we've got it down. We're fixing the economy. We're building the foundations and all that other fanny that they come out with. I'm not blaming Labour. I'm not even blaming Keir Starmer, fundamentally. He's just continuing from where Rishi Sunak left us, Liz Truss, the lettuce, and the rest of them. Boris Johnson. A plague on all their houses, I say. Hi, John, I'm going to email Two-tier Keir and tell him to inform that useless sod Macron that I'm willing, no, not coalition of the willing, to be sent to Calais, and I'll pop the dinghies free of charge. Keep well, my friend, says Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, on Facebook. I think there'd be a lot of volunteers who'd do that. I really do. Be like a dad's army, but we'll be on the beaches of Calais and Dunkirk. Starmer announced today in Parliament that he'd already cut migration since coming to power. Unbelievable, says slapping a bird's bottom. You're right, mate. He's just a liar. He's a pathological liar. And when does he ever answer a question? I've got to say, Kemi Badenoch, I don't know if you were watching PMQs today, she stitched him up. There's going to be massive tax rises coming in because we're skint. Well, if we're skint, you have to repair your own house and your own roof first, don't you? The first duty of any government, any prime minister, is the protection of its citizens. Starmer, he wants to be a combination of Jesus Christ and Bob Geldof. He wants to feed the world. We can't afford it. Do you agree? At the moment, we can't afford it. Like we can't afford foreign aid. We can't afford to give millions to Syria, who are now being run by ex-Al Qaeda terrorists. This is mental. I asked the other day, it was the 20th anniversary of 7/7. I said, do you feel safer? I'm going to be honest with you. I feel less safe now than when the bombs went off in the tube in London. I was there. I was on air that day. There won't be necessarily a terrorist spectacle again, as they call it. 52 people died that day. Over 750 were really badly injured. And I don't know how many people affected mentally, right? They won't do that. But they are driving cars into queues and pavements. And we're letting undocumented men of fighting age. That does not mean they're all terrorists, but we don't even know who's in the country. We don't even know when people overstay whether they go back again. It's not just Labour's fault. It's the Conservatives as well. I'm sorry. We've got to get tough. Emmanuel Macron of France is right. We are the soft touch. Denise Deacon says, I agree with Macron. We know he's right. It's what everybody's been saying for years. You're right, Denise. It's what we've all been saying. Correct. Put the Navy in the channel and turn the boats around, says Michael Bailey. Michael, I agree with you completely, my friend. 25 likes. That is brilliant. Vicky Zadjek, I hope I said your name right, on Facebook says, if countries don't stop mass immigration, they will lose the sovereignty of their nations. Well, that's something I was talking about yesterday. When people say, oh, you're a flag shagger, if you actually believe in our country and you believe in our tradition, our culture, and our flag and our way of life. No, you're not. Because if you don't believe in your country and if you don't believe in borders, you're not a country. You just become an area or a region, which is what the EU was all about. So then she goes on to say, this is what the dumbing down of America looks like. When you allow mass invasion, they will multiply and take over your land, destroying the sovereignty of your nation. I hate no one, says Vicky, but people need to wake up to reality. Look at all the countries around the world who have allowed mass immigration to infiltrate their populations and the problems they're having with it, especially with cultures who, and then it stops because I think you ran out of space. Thank you for your comments, Vicky. Don't necessarily agree with it all, but thank you very much indeed. And thank you just for being honest and saying what you think. If you want to say something, just put a comment on the bottom, type it in. If you want to donate to keep these going, because I've got advertising now, but it's not enough money to pay for everything and for the expansion. So please, if you fancy supporting me, just a few quid, press that $sign and donate something today. That would be brilliant if you can. If not, after the show, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I'm delighted to say that some people did that yesterday. It's really appreciated. And if you do like the show, tell all your mates about it and make sure you retweet the link so other people can get on board. Pat Burnside says the illegals are cooking the takeaway food in the hotel kitchens and delivering it directly to customers on e-bikes. Yeah, you're right, Pat. They are. There's been stories about that. They say they're going to clamp down on it. When? I mean, let's face it, we've got the worst Home Secretary in the world. Yvette, whatever her name is, right? Yvette Cooper. Yvette Fielding off Blue Peter, who does the ghost stories on the telly. She'd be better, wouldn't she? Mind you, my daughter's dog would be better than Yvette Cooper. Get a bloody grip. Put the British citizens first. We're very aware of the diabolical problems facing our population. We need solutions other than waiting for the ballot box, says David Allison. Well, I'm afraid that if they carry on like this, David, people would lose patience, and that's a worrying thing. It's not something that I want to happen, but you can see it. I know where you're coming from. I can see where you're coming from. And they've got to stop calling us far right or racist for saying we want to control who's coming to our country. I don't think it's racist or fascist to say, well, if there's a home of multiple occupation next door to me or two doors down, I want to know who they are. I want to know where these people have come from. Or I want to be reassured by my government that they know who they are. Let's face it, the inquiry is happening at the moment into Southport, into Axel Rubilicano, or whatever his name is, yeah? They're not even saying his name because they don't want to upset the families. Fair enough, I understand. But How did he get away with it? Why wasn't he locked up? 7-7, after 7-7, Prevent was set up. But it's useless. It's like a chocolate bloody fire guard. They had 3 times to lock up that madman. Did they do it? Did they? Hellers like. And that's the problem. We're being run by donkeys. No matter which rosette they've got on, ladies and gentlemen, we are being run and governed by absolute donkeys or asses. Slapping a bird's bottom, the 8 million quid a day is the tip of the iceberg, John. The associated costs outside of this, such as interpreters, healthcare, clothing, welfare payments, not to mention the crime and the cultural damage. Oh, you're brave to actually bring up cultural damage. I agree with you. Thank you very much indeed for your comments. Money, money, money. But let's see how many come while Macron is over here. My guess is very few or none by order. Well, I was watching GB News and the brilliant Mark White, who's a fantastic reporter. I know him really well. I used to work with him a lot. And he used to be on Sky, didn't he? He's a great guy. He's been reporting on this migrant crisis at Dover most days for GB News. And he was saying today, yeah, nobody's coming. And then he said, I don't think, is it a coincidence? He was being polite. But clearly Macron has told those useless French police, don't let anyone get in the channel today. Well, if they can do it when Macron's here, why can't they do it every day? We gave them £500 million, English pounds, to sort this out. There's a rumour going around Westminster at the moment that Starmer's going to give them another 200 to 400 million. What for? What for? Buy more snails for that packing up? That's a bit racist, but you understand what I'm coming from. Just mental. Just mental. So Paul Rowbottom, I agree with you. Fraser Ford says, very accurate points. Thank you, Fraser. Slapping a bird's bottom. The whole of PMQs is just Labour circling back to the previous government. It's their fault. It's the black hole. It's whatever. The situation we inherited, and maybe a bit of 22 billion black hole. It's all pathetic. I agree with you. And also, John, this is slapping a bird's bottom. He says, the way Parliament spoke over Nigel Farage when he tried to talk today and the Speaker let them was scandalous. You may not have been watching PMQs, but if you watch the news later, Farage tried to make his point in the mother of all parliaments and they shouted him down. They shouted him down, particularly one, I think he's a Muslim MP, who was just deeply offensive. I'm sorry. The whole idea is they're meant to be able to have their say. For God's sake, if you can't have your say in Parliament or in the Commons, what hope is there for the rest of us? What hope is there for the rest of us? And that's really where I'm at. I'm saying President Emmanuel Macron is correct. I'm grateful that he's brought the subject up. We do need to sort out the migration crisis. I think we need to declare a state of emergency. Macron is right. The only way to stop the boats, smash the gangs, is by very, very tough measures. We need then the French to get in the water and slash the boats. We need a deterrent. We need to say, you're not going to stay in hotels. You're going to stay in old warehouses. You're going to stay in old shops. We're going to put you up. We're going to look after you. But the land of milk and honey is over. They think that we've created an El Dorado. I saw some of them on GB News. They're interested. Yeah, I want to get to London. I want to get to the United Kingdom. Why? Because they think it's El Dorado. They think it's a paradise. Somebody should tell them it's a shithole. Maybe that would help. I don't know. Keir Starmer's let us down, but it's not just him. So did Rishi Sunak. Do you see him? He's gone and got himself a massive job at a big firm of accountants. It always happens. Health secretaries end up working for the drug firms. The world is corrupt. I've always told you it's them and us, and them is all of the MPs, all of the House of Lords, all of the establishment, all of the mainstream media, the BBC, the lot of them. They're not on your side. And King Charles has been pulled into this today by using this word irregular migration. It's illegal, Charlie boy, illegal. British politics is in a terrible state, and the news for the UK is terrible. We've got to stop the channel crossings. We've got to stop illegal migration, and we've got to get France on the same side as us. So although it's brilliant that what Macron has said today, we now need action, President Macron. and you, Keir Starmer. I'm exhausted. That was some rant and a half. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like it, please share it. Please tell your friends that Jon Gaunt is back and he's firing on all cylinders. You won't get this on the mainstream, but you will get it here. And I'm doing shows now nearly every day of the week. I started off doing 4. I do 5 or 6 now. I know I should do it at 6:30, but it's too bloody hot. And Wimbledon, you all want to watch Wimbledon. I don't blame you. We need a bit of escapism. I hope you're not watching the women's football, because that's not escapism, is it? That's just dreadful. I can't believe how much money the BBC and ITV, it's a separate issue, how much the BBC and ITV have spent on that. What a waste of bloody money. It's boring. It's rubbish. It's like watching pub football, but slightly less attractive. Oh, shut up, John. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe at 6:30. I'll let you know during the day on Twitter and on Facebook. But if you join my page, if you subscribe to Jon Gaunt TV, you'll get notified when I'm doing one, so you can tune in live. But don't forget, you don't have to watch live. You can watch it as soon as this finishes. I put it up as a replay, and you can watch it and download it at your pleasure. And you can forward the link to other people. If you like what I'm doing, press the little $ and donate at just a few quid. Just donate something just to keep them going. We need a free, independent broadcasting media. Plus the fact no one else will give me a job. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee or buy me a beer, it's www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Thank you for making these podcasts a success. Without you, it won't happen. It just simply won't happen. So thank you for that. Speak to you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.